Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the British Ramadan show, brought to you by British Muslim TV in association with Shazans. So it's lovely to have your company today. We've got a fun-packed show, we've got loads to talk to you about, and of course we've got the wonderful Denise rustling up a storm in the kitchen. So Denise, what do we have today?
We've got lamb fajitas with a yogurt and cucumber dip.
Excellent.
Really nice.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we look forward to that. But before we have any more to do with cooking, come over this side and let me introduce you to my guests in the cosy corner today. Hello there and welcome. Hello. So I've got with me Andrew and Ross Pickstock, who are from Pickstock Foods. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for making the time to be here with us today. So tell us a little bit about the production side of Pickstock Foods.
Yes. So we're a family business. Mm-hmm. We're based in rural Derbyshire. So sandwiched, I suppose, between urban areas, but we're in a rural setting. Mm-hmm. We're a single species plant. We're 100% halal plant.
Right. So when you say single species,
yeah. So we only process lamb and mutton.
Okay.
Lamb
and older lamb.
Yes, exactly. Lamb and older lamb. Yeah, exactly. So we're a relatively young business, but we've got extensive experience in the industry.
Sure.
We have ourselves and our family really have been in the industry, in the livestock industry, in the sheep industry for
how long now?
The last 35 and past that as well. So 35 years.
Wow, so that's amazing. So have you always been in this part of North Derbyshire, did you say?
So no, that's actually a fairly recent venture. We're actually from Mid Wales.
Right.
But I suppose home for us has always been the Midlands. Yeah, so we actually have two farms as well. That are in the Midlands as well. Sheep farms.
So we've been, over the shows that we've done over the last 9 and 10 nights, we've been talking very much about the British Muslim sort of like halal food and meat industry. And I know that you make a massive contribution to that with Pickstock Foods, and you have a halal-only production unit as well. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Halal, prior to us opening this site, actually, just as a bit of information, previously, for 24 years, we had a large halal factory.
Oh, okay.
That was, again, single species, sheep only. That one was run, we owned that one for 24 years. Wow. But we decided that because we wanted to continue to expand, that we built on a greenfield site so that we would have less neighbours, more room for expansion, and more room for the livestock. So we did that, and as Ross said, we opened this factory 4 years ago, and it's
busy 4 years.
Been a very busy 4 years.
Smack bang in the middle of COVID.
I was just about to say, wouldn't that have been slap bang in the middle of COVID?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Yeah. Obviously, we didn't know that when we said about opening a new business, but we opened the doors in January 2020, so 2 months before. Yeah, but as it happened. I suppose, we were a new entrant to the market. Although kind of food consumption patterns changed, I mean, food service kind of closed overnight. But everyone, keeps on eating. We found, there was a bit of a change. More people were finding they had more time. They were cooking at home. That was quite, good. I suppose for lamb, it was quite interesting because people were getting a little bit more, maybe experimenting with new recipes, trying out new things. And
the butchers were so busy through COVID. Yeah. And we had opened and we have grown. We grew hugely in the first 3 years, so 4 years now in July.
I mean, that's incredible to hear and to see. So let's have a look at the facility now.
I'm Ross Pickstock. I'm responsible for sales at Pickstock Foods Limited, which is a family-run lamb and sheep slaughterhouse and cutting plant based in Derbyshire, UK. We're processing up to 15,000 lamb and sheep a week. All British livestock. We are very, very careful from start to finish. When they actually come to the site, obviously we've got a full-time vet on site that's checking over the welfare of the animals. We've also got a number of animal welfare officers on site the whole team in our animal handling facilities are trained, so they know what to look for. They know how to handle the animals. The whole kind of concept, I suppose, for our site. We're a rural site. We're in a very agricultural setting, and the site is definitely, the outside of the site is really, we've tried to keep it as similar as we could to a traditional British farm, in that we can have the sheep out grazing on the fields. We can have the obviously animals in our lairages, which are the sheep sheds. So they're bedded down with straw. They've got access to hay and feed. They've got access, to water, spacious pens, so they can lay down, they can rest, they can sleep. So yeah, it's really key for us. And then what we've tried to do then with the design of the facilities, we've really taken the advice of animal behaviour specialists such as Temple Grandin, where we've designed the lairages so as to minimise stress for the animals. So they're guided into the lairages and into the slaughter line in a way that they're not going around sharp bends. They're not in a noisy environment. They stay actually with the animals that they arrive with. So they stay within the groups and the kind of hierarchies between the animals that they're used to. So that's not new to them. And then really right up to the point of slaughter, the handling equipment that we use. It is state of the art, and it is really whilst being designed to I suppose kind of mimic the handling equipment that you'd see on farms. So yeah, I mean that is that the animal welfare up to the point of slaughter, that actually translates directly into the eating quality of the meat. A stressed animal leads to poor quality meat. It's as simple as that. You'll have seen in the fridges, our lamb it's bright. It's got what we call a bloom. So you've got this bright kind of pinkish kind of tone to the meat, and that you wouldn't see that with a stressed animal. So for us, the halal market is absolutely huge. Everything we do on site is halal. So we're audited by a third party, a company called the Halal Food Authority, the HFA. Myself and my family, we have been supplying the halal sector in the UK for over 35 years. It's just part of what we do. It's part of the DNA and part of the fabric of the business. I suppose with halal in general, we started doing it in my father started doing it in the 1980s. He was really a farmer coming from mid Wales, and he was just really starting to organise a contract slaughter, so organising carcasses and supplying into butcher shops. And I know he is extremely grateful to. He's extremely grateful to the Muslim community in that they I suppose they gave him that trust, and they gave him that faith and the trust, and bought the products, and he always says he repays that trust and that faith now every day in what he does, because he will not let his customers down. Big part of our I suppose the core philosophy of the business is based on that kind of customer service. We've had a lot of faith, we've had a lot of trust placed in us, and we are absolutely determined to repay that by won't let our customers down, and we will do everything to I suppose everything done to the letter of the law. So all T's crossed, I's dotted. We're a signee of the British Halal Charter, which I suppose means that we're fully committed and full believers in the process. Export potential for halal. It's an expectation for us from our customers. We've got a fantastic product with British lamb. I think really it is second to none. from conversations I've had with customers in the Middle East, it's always extremely well received. I mean, my experience has always been that they perceive it to be the gold standard. Yes, in terms of welfare, in terms of halal and our halal creditability. But also the eating quality of the carcasses and the conformations and what our farmers are able to achieve, owing as well to what our climate. We're a wet country, not always to our liking, but we've got a climate. One thing we do produce is grass, and we produce a lot of it. And if sheep and lambs like anything, it's grass. I suppose part of the charm as well for us and for our export customers then is there is the variety of livestock that we've got here as well. So that's we can have anything from the Scotch Blackface or the Welsh Mountain lambs coming off the hills and the mountains, and then even our lowland breeds as well. Between across the UK, we've really have got a lot to offer, and it's been great. It's great to be part of that actually.
So we saw a really great video there of your production site, and I noticed, Ross, you talked about the halal charter, the British halal charter, which obviously is something that you are working towards. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So like a few of the other companies that have been. That have been on the show so far. We're signatories of the British Halal Charter. So what that means is that animals are alive and healthy at the point of slaughter. The slaughter is carried out by a practicing Muslim slaughterman. Sure. And also then that we are independently verified and audited. Sure. By an independent or a third party independent body. So, I mean, the plant that you have now, the one that the video is from, and that's just been set up for 4 years. But even prior to that, you were doing the whole halal meat sort of like thing, weren't you? So has that? I mean, obviously you've developed from there, but has it meant you've had to do a lot of research? And how have you been received by other markets? Yeah, I'll let you answer that one, Dan, as you get it all started.
Obviously, personally myself, I've been involved in the halal market for the last 35 years. When we started in the meat industry, that was where I did start. Okay. And so we started in that market because there was good demand in that market, and we were sheep producers. So naturally, a lot of sheep meat eaten by the halal goes into the halal market for the Muslim customers, which was great for us as farmers. So then we started producing and contract processing in a facility for that, and I gradually started my little roundup of selling lamb to butchers.
So in that journey that you have, I'm sure that you were amazing in how you navigated that. But there must have been some really funny stories that came out there. Any stories that pop into your mind that you might like to share with us?
I had a lot of good luck. I had elements of bad luck. I had some various different accidents that happened that happened to myself. I remember once that I was in the very early years. I was lost in Wembley in London, trying to find my way to a new customer.
A farmer out of mid Wales.
And a farmer out of mid Wales in the big city. I wasn't
a bit lost.
I found it quite challenging. And I remember I parked I thought, right, I'll have to pull over. I pulled over onto the pavement, what I thought was the pavement, and it was underground cellars that were underneath. Oh no. And anyway, I got some very strange looks from some ladies pushing a pram down the pavement. And when I thought, right, okay, I better get off here, possibly I'm not meant to be on here, which I knew it wasn't.
Sure.
Luckily, it was the days before cameras were on the streets, because as I reversed up, I totally demolished all of the pavement over the top of the cellars. Yeah, and very fortunately, my truck actually just managed, thankfully, to come quietly to reverse off the pavement. And I left two very surprised ladies that couldn't believe what I'd just done. And off I went. I wasn't sure what else to do.
Did you find where you needed to be?
I did find where I needed to go.
You weren't circumnavigating Wembley.
I didn't come back.
No. No. You got them to pick up then from you.
Yes, I think they had to take an alternative route.
Yes.
Oh, well. So, that's hilarious. And I mean, those are the things that stay with you as well, isn't it, when you're doing something? Particularly when you're working in such a different, geographical area and with different, like communities and different markets. So just in terms of your operation, so who are you supplying? Is this a product that is well received locally, or are you supplying big chains, or is it going abroad? What's the?
Yeah, so it's a real mix. A real kind of diverse spread of different channels and countries. About 30% of our lamb is heading for export.
Okay.
So it's actually leaving the UK, where it's very well received. So that'll be going into the EU, but then also further afield. And then I suppose domestically, we will be supplying into a small amount of retail. We'll be supplying into restaurants. Will be a core of our business, and I suppose and always a very important part of our business would be delivering carcasses and products directly into butchers' shops.
Sure.
With a particular focus, I suppose, in the southeast. But yeah, it can be. I suppose your if you think about all the different places that we eat, your limit is your imagination. So it can be airlines, it could be cruise lines.
Yeah. So there are a lot of different places where obviously you're supplying different products coming out of.
And I suppose for us, it was important for us, particularly establishing our business in COVID, and almost seeing. I suppose we'd kind of started out initially hoping to be a food service focused business, and seeing that channel almost disappear overnight with the COVID restrictions. Sure. It was quite formative, as a really early stage of the business's development, and we set out really to make sure that we did have a diverse business and hopefully a strong and resilient business.
Yeah. Well, we're having a really great conversation, and we want to hear more about that. But we're just going to go to a very short break now, and then we'll pick up as soon as we come back. So guys, stay tuned. You're tuned into British Ramadan, and brought to you, of course, by British Muslim TV and Shazans. We'll be back very shortly, straight after this. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're live here in the studio with Andrew and Ross Pickstock from Pickstock Foods, and we were just in the middle of talking about one wonderful story that you shared with us, which was absolutely fantastic. So just kind of like looking at, because there's a lot of history that charts your journey. So Andrew, tell us a little bit more about where you and Ross see the direction of travel at the moment for the halal lamb and sheep industry. What's the future trajectory, do you think?
I think that the market clearly is growing stronger and year on year. The halal food businesses are all growing, whichever sector they're in. For us, it's a great market. Sure. It's a very important market. And as a family, as sheep farmers, it fits in directly with what we do.
Sure.
So as a business, do I see the potential in the UK? Totally. And also, very importantly, is the growth in exports.
Yeah, so I'd add to that. I was recently out in Dubai at the Gulf Food, the International Gulf Food Conference, which is just growing year on year. It's just becoming an unmissable event. And just some of the demand, and some of what we've seen, some of the activity out in those areas is just amazing. And also just demand for the British product. It's definitely perceived as a top tier product. I think that from my experience of getting out there and talking to customers and talking to distributors and buyers, they definitely see the value in the fully traceable, high welfare, extremely high quality product. There really is, there's nothing quite like it.
Great stuff. Well, it is now time for us to open our fast. So anyone that's fasting in the Wakefield and surrounding area, fast is now open. And so I'm going to have a sip of water, and I'm going to offer you some dates as well. Here we go.
Thank you.
If you'd like, of course, if you'd like.
That's what maybe,
Yeah.
I'll have one of those. Lovely.
So we were just talking about the international market, and I know that the Middle East is a huge market in terms of meat produce. So is that something that you think would be something that British markets would think of developing towards?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's a huge focus for us as a business. We've got a lot of work to do, and again, I suppose it's quite a young business. We've I suppose the last 4 years we've really been focused on getting up on our feet and getting kind of systems and infrastructure up in place, growing the team. We started with just the three of us, really, a very small team to begin with in 2020, which is now grown to about 160 people on site. So again, started really without any production or any customer base. So that's really it's been a focus for the last 4 years, and now we're starting to just I suppose turn a bit more focus and a bit more attention to export markets. So that's why I suppose that's why we were out in Gulfood. Last year I actually travelled out to Kuwait to meet distributors out there. This summer I'll be out visiting Jordan.
They're very hot.
Yeah, and KSA. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, so I'll bring my my sun cream. Yes, but no, I can't wait actually because I can't wait to get out.
So I can't wait for something else too. Food.
Yes.
So let's find out what's happening over in the cooking corner. Would you like to come and join me?
Yes.
We will.
So Denise.
Hi.
Oh, I can't tell you how ready for this
I haven't started yet.
Would you like
I've
to
got
take
so
a
much
seat?
to say.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll just move this. Do you want to move this?
Oh, yeah.
Stool just slightly that way so they're not feeling like they're sat on the top of each other. There we go.
There we are.
Take a seat here.
Thank you very much.
So obviously, you've come such a long way, and we have talked a lot to some degree about lamb. So it would be wrong for us to send you back without sampling some of Denise's amazing.
I'm going to start this off.
Some of our lamb, actually.
I'm going to start this off. It's lamb fajitas. We're going to Mexico. It's all Mexican flavours tonight.
Wicked.
Lamb fajitas with a chunky yogurt and cucumber dip. I'm going to just get this. I've got here about a pound, 450 grams of lamb leg steaks, and I've cut them into strips. I'm just going to pop that into a pan. I've got a teaspoon of oil. I'm going to get this going, and I'm going to show you what I did with this leg steak here that I have in front of me. Normally you'd purchase, this is a bone-in leg steak, but you can get boneless leg steaks as well. So what I did with this was that I just removed the bone, took the bone out. You don't want the bone, because this is a really quick cook recipe. It takes about 8 minutes or so.
See, the little voice in my head is saying, no, don't remove anything. Keep it all in.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that. And then you just cut them into strips like this. And you go across the grain, and it will make it more tender. I don't know how old this lamb is, and probably Ross will be able to...
Will it cook quicker as well?
Yes, it will. It will cook much, much quicker. So I want to use all of this. So, and to this, I'm going to add some prepared fajita seasoning, which is a Mexican seasoning. 2 teaspoons. I could take longer to do that, but we're up against time, really.
We are indeed.
Not doing too badly.
So this is the fajita seasoning. You can get it in most supermarkets. Really easy to find, and it's a combination of flavours like cayenne pepper, cumin, smoked flavours. I'm going to get that up really high. Like so. And then we're just going to stir this and get it really hot and moving around. You don't have to use fajita seasoning. You could use a combination of cayenne pepper, cumin, whatever you have at home. And you smell the flavours are starting to come through already. This is a really, really quick dish. You can actually do it with lamb mince as well.
Okay.
Really easy to do. The kids will love it because you can just add what you need.
Yeah.
And to actually make it even more healthy,
It smells amazing.
I'm going to add a large grated carrot. You can use courgette as well, but just to make it more healthy.
So you also are part of what is it?
Let's Eat Balance.
Let's Eat Balance.
These are 4 chopped spring onions as well. Yes, Let's Eat Balance. I work for AHDB, and this is a 1 lime zest and juice.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I work for AHDB, and we have been involved with a campaign called Let's Eat Balance, and it's all about telling you about the greatness of British meat and dairy, and how good it is, how it's got excellent husbandry.
And I believe we've got a video on that.
Yes, yeah, I talk about the Let's Eat Balance campaign. So, yeah.
Okay, let's have a look.
Information about how to eat British beef, lamb and dairy in a sustainable way as part of your healthy diet. So it includes lots of different beef and lamb and dairy recipes that are lean and good for you, a variety of different cuts of British beef, lamb and dairy that are developed for various meal occasions.
Okay, so that's a little bit then. We know something about the Let's Eat Balance. So how did you get into that?
Well, I studied home economics at university, and I've got a master's in culinary arts, so my whole career's been in food, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So, so I've been at AHDB for nearly 20 years.
Wow.
I develop all the recipes for the campaign work. All the meat, beef, lamb, dairy. So that's what I do. So while that's cooking, I'm going to show you how to make the chunky yogurt dip. This is in here, it's fat-free Greek yogurt. Obviously, the yogurt is milk. It's really good amounts of calcium that's in here, and vitamin B12, which you need to aid tiredness and fatigue. And it's all part of a healthy, balanced diet. I'm going to turn this down a little bit.
Also helps with aging gracefully.
Of course. So in here, I've also got some freshly chopped mint, and I've got about a quarter cucumber. Just going to add that in there. And I'm just going to, and a pinch of dried chilli.
Okay.
You don't have to add that if you want. And just I'm just going to show you how I did this. It's a really quick tip. A teaspoon to remove the seeds. Just remove the seeds like so. Really easy, and you don't have to faff around with your knife. There you go, and that removes the seeds. And if you keep the seeds in, it makes the yogurt really watery.
Yeah, okay.
And then you just dice it.
Every day's a school day.
Exactly, that's what I'm here for.
So Denise, you showed us how to make this so quickly.
Really easy.
Even on the show, and we've only got 3 minutes left, but everything seems almost like it's ready.
Everything's done, really. And that's your yogurt dip.
Brilliant.
And then this is practically done. So that I'm going to remove, just going to add a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt.
And it looks like we're there.
Yeah, we are. And then you take this off the heat. And then I'm going to stir through about a bag of fresh baby spinach. And you don't need to cook it because of the heat.
Yeah, it'll just wilt it.
Wilt it through.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Always amazes me how it just disappears.
And then I'm just going to give that a stir. It's really healthy.
Oh, it looks amazing.
It's so quick.
And we really want our guests to try this before we have to
And
close the show.
I've also got here.
Yeah, definitely.
Plates.
Okay, so this is going to be a sprint, but we've got 2 minutes to taste.
Okay, no, fantastic.
No pressure, Denise. Right, so here we are.
You're doing
I'm
fantastically,
just going
thank
to
you.
put a little bit
You've
of...
got time. You've got time.
Blue Peter.
We've always got time for lamb.
Yes.
It looks amazing. Looks
Right,
wonderful.
and I'm
Would
going to show you how to roll them
yogurt
up.
on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Help yourself.
And then
quickly.
I've got some coriander as well.
Thank you very much.
Fresh coriander.
Yeah, I'll sort that now. Thank you very much.
Come on
Give you a
then.
little bit of
Go on
coriander.
then, Denise, wrap it up.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you
I'll
like
go.
coriander. Not everybody likes coriander. I absolutely love it. And there you go. You just
No,
roll
we
it
like
up
it,
and
we
wrap
like
it.
it.
I really
Yeah.
want to see you guys try this.
Yeah.
Go for it, guys.
Okay, we're going.
Ready,
for it.
ready, go. And Andrew's gone in, and Ross has made it into
Guys,
the
can you
country.
say hi?
We're at it.
So what are
We're
your
used
thoughts?
to eating quickly.
So how does it taste?
Yeah, that is delicious.
Is it? And the
Thank you.
seasoning and the whole kind of like
Yeah,
Mexican
I
vibe.
might be a little bit biased, but, but I know
all right.
lamb is my favourite.
You can come back.
It's fabulous.
Excellent.
No,
Well, I'm really glad that
fantastic.
you've enjoyed that.
Thank you,
Denise, thank you so much
Oh,
for
you're
the
welcome.
recipes that you've shown us.
You're more than welcome.
It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. We are at the end of our segment now. We're at the end of the show. So, guys, thank you. British Ramadan is going to continue 6 p.m. every night. But from all of us here on the Light Editions, take care of yourselves. Keep tuned in, keep eating well, and head to the website, pick up the recipes, and we'll, inshallah, see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your Ramadan. Take care. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.